has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Hey, make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS and Android in the Play Store. It's free. It's badass. You can watch the network, listen to the network, follow your favorite hosts, and, literally in-game odds. It's got everything, stories, highlights, videos. It's phenomenal. The SportsGrid app on iOS and Android. Also, we're streaming on X. Did you know that? You can watch SportsGrid on X at SportsGrid-Live. Just follow us right there on Twitter, and you'll be able to watch us on X, streaming 7 days a week, 365. It's badass. Get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench podcasts on iTunes. C2C is 3 hours. The Ferrall on the Bench podcast is usually between 5 and 20 minutes. It's badass. Gives you all the results and all the games that are going on that day, that night, and moving ahead into the weekend and through the weekend. I think you'll like both of them. Available on iTunes. Don't forget, Monday night, the 20th, next Monday night is the national championship game, finally, after we've waited 4 years for this game, literally since they played the national semifinals. It's been 4 years we've waited for the Ohio State-Notre Dame game, which is Monday night coming up next week, which is in 5 days. They'll be done with the wild cards and the divisional rounds before they play the college football national championship game, which is disgusting that we're still waiting for that game. All right, we get into the Bills and Ravens. Carver High is saying that it's going to be 5 degrees in the below.
They are saying that it's going to be cold. The high in Buffalo for Sunday is 22. They are saying by game time it will be in the single digits for the Ravens and the Bills. Now, look, you're probably saying to me, yeah, well, Baltimore's not exactly Fort Lauderdale. No kidding. I understand that. It's cold in Baltimore. We know, but it is not. It ain't Western New York. Buffalo cold. Let me just give you a couple things here. Take with them what you will. First of all, Lamar Jackson has only played 2 games in his career under 32 degrees. He is 1-1 in those games. One was last year in the playoffs in the divisional round at home against Houston. It was 27 that day, and they won. And he played pretty well. But 27 degrees is the coldest game Lamar Jackson has ever played in. Derrick Henry's coldest game is 22 degrees. The Buffalo Bills under Sean McDermott are 14-2 when the temperature gets below 32 degrees. 14-2. That is the best in the NFL.
32 degrees
since
to me is sissy
1991.
weather. That's sissy weather. I went to a game in Pittsburgh. It was 10 below with a wind chill, and that is onions right there. So 5 degrees, 32 degrees to me is like going to that's like walking the dog. I walk the dog I got up today, it was 12. Shut up. 12 degrees will make a man out of you, especially when you're wearing flip-flops and socks. That's it. And shorts. I went to the car, from the house to the car. I was honestly like, holy mother. I got in the car. Then the cold air blowing in the car on my feet. I was like, and I couldn't even put my hand on the steering wheel. It was so cold. 5 degrees. Give me the Bills. I don't care what the number is. I don't care who's favored. I don't care who Lamar Jackson or his mother is. I saw the most pathetic thing today. They're 5-0 since his mother cussed him out. Shut the F up. Honestly, what is next? What he has for dinner
that matters.
affects the game? Shut up. Give me the Bills. I don't care. Bills all day. Bills. Thank you.
Yeah, Allen as a dog in the playoffs hasn't been good. But let me just, as always with these numbers, there's always a story behind the numbers. So Allen, yes, he's 0-3 as a dog, which I guess technically right now he is. We'll see if that's the case on Sunday. Yeah, 2 of those were against Patrick Mahomes, and the other was his first ever playoff start. He's 6-5 straight up in the playoffs. He's won plenty of playoff games in his career. This is still sitting, as we said, Ravens -1.5, 51.5. Now that's one thing I can say to you. Forget the game for a moment. 51.5 when they're talking temperatures in the single digits.
Under.
With a wind chill, then kicking around 10 to 20 miles per hour. I see it very difficult that there's going to be over 51.5 points scored in a game with those kind of conditions. That's cold. That is a very cold game.
Bills in the under. Thank you.
I agree with you. Bills and the under. All right, how about to win the AFC as a whole here? We only have 4 teams left in the AFC. Here are your favorites to get it done. Of course, the Chiefs are at the top, plus $140. The Ravens plus 225. Bills 240. Texans 18-1. The Chiefs have the most tickets at 19%, and the Ravens have the most money at 36%.
Oh, it'll be fantastic when I hit that Bills plus 240. It'll be fantastic.
It will be fantastic, and that hopefully will happen. From your lips to God's ears, we are hoping that it happens. On the NFC side of things,
to do with this.
That's true. We've discussed that at length. He has nothing to do with it.
I'm done listening to that nonsense as well. I mean, that's just, don't get me started on the religion. Listen, everyone, I respect your religion. I respect everything, God, Jesus, all of it. The house of the holy, the Catholic, all of them. Jewish. I don't care what you are. I really don't. God has nothing to do with sports. Stop with the nonsense. There is no way God has time to deal with sports with all the other things on his plate. I mean, there is just no way. With all the deaths and all the fires and all the carnage and all the chaos and, terrorism and wars all over the world, holy wars. You think God has time for the Bills and Ravens on Sunday night? I mean, what, Jesus and God are going to pull up to the TV with my mom and dad, 34C's mom and dad up in heaven, going to all gather around, get some popcorn and watch the game? Just stop it. I can't take it anymore. These players. God was with us today. Oh, and he was against the other team, right? Okay. Whatever. Please stop with the nonsense. How about the guy at Boise? How about that guy with his religious rants during the interviews he did? He never taught football once. Guy started reading the Bible to me. That guy was embarrassing. I don't care who he is. What is that? What place does it have? Are you going to shove that down my throat while I'm watching you lose? Stop it. Just stop already. It should be against the law to bring it up. Sacrilege, my ass.
It would be too cold for them there on Sunday anyway. It would be too cold for them.
God's going to hang out in Buffalo.
The Lions are the favorites in the NFC side. Lions plus 110, then the Eagles, Rams, and Commanders. Of course, as we've already known, the Lions have it all. I mean, all the tickets, all the money. All the juice, 30+% on both of those. Everyone's on the Lions. All those tickets that have built up throughout the year.
I would kill to see the Commanders and Rams in the NFC Championship game. I would love it. By the way, the Rams, who would have the home field? It would be the Commanders.
Rams. The Rams would. The Rams would have the home field. Because they won the division. They're the 3, so they would have the home. If that happens, it's very possible, I guess. And the Lions are the favorites for the whole thing at plus 280 for the Super Bowl, with the Chiefs, Eagles, Ravens, Bills behind them.
Chiefs win every single Super Bowl, and they're not the favorites. That's funny to me.
Yeah, it does make you laugh sometimes. I don't know how they're not, but it is the Lions for now. We'll see how that goes once we get to the end there. So only 8 teams left. Going to be a lot of fun. All right. After I talk to Cam, I'm going to warn you now. We are going to do some Mike Tomlin. The say goodbye for the year to Mike Tomlin stuff. So we have to. We'll do that for you after I do the Amex with Cam next.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday, a Golf Wednesday on C2C. Of course, every week we take you through the PGA Tour's action for this weekend. We got a big DP World Tour event as well. Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister, is with me every week as we run through the card. And Cam, great to see you as always. We don't have a lot of time, but I'll just say it quickly. I'm sorry, you had Jaegerbomb on Sunday at the Sony, and he completely collapsed in the last 2 or 3 holes. I mean, you end up with Nick the Dentist Taylor and Echevarria in the playoff, which was just wild. But not a good scene, Cam. I'm sorry about Jaegerbomb. I apologize.
Yeah, it's kind of golf, and I got a piece of Taylor. But yeah, winning 4 or 5 grand is a hell of a lot better than hundreds. But you know what, Carver? We'll take what we can get. Let's move on to the Amex.
Yes.
Weird tournament, 3 courses, and fill in the people. We got lots of picks.
We get away from Hawaii now. We really start the West Coast swing at the Amex in La Quinta. And this is a weird one, Cam, as you say. It's a hard tournament because they play 3 courses over a 3-day span. Then they cut to one group of guys for the final round on Sunday. So very strange format. They, of course, play the Pete Dye, the La Quinta Country Club, and the Nicholas are the 3 spots. We had some guys drop out, like Xander. He's not playing. Dangerous Denny McCarthy. We do have Sungjae Im, Justin Thomas, Sam Burns. Mr. Burns is here. Patrick Cantlay, Finau, and a few others. So we do have some names, quote unquote, here for us this week, Cam. Let me start you off with the outrights on my side for the Amex. I was tempted to put Cantlay in because I feel like he is a little further down than he probably should be, considering this field. But I'm going to go Burns instead, Cam, because he's got some better history here at the Amex. So 16-1 is my chalkier pick for Burns. Wyndham Clark, I thought he played well in Hawaii. 33-1 at the Century. I'm going to take a shot there. The postman ringing. He didn't ring for you last week, Cam. He's rung the bell a little bit here at the Amex. Has some good finishes. 55-1 for him. I love the way Sepp Straka's played over the past few weeks at a 60-1. Tom Hoagie, 60-1. Slipped a little bit at the Sony, but loves playing in California, so let's get Hoagie Sandwich in there. And how about Mac Hughes, who's been playing some real good golf throughout the entire fall season? Didn't play bad last week either, and at a great price, 120-1, Cam, for Mac Hughes. We had a Canadian last week in Hawaii. How about we get a Canadian in La Quinta?
Good call, Carver. The Canadians actually don't get respect by the books. It's kind of stupid, to be honest with you. But anyway, we'll take advantage of it. Let's go. I'm with you on Wyndham Clark as well. This guy murders the ball, and he plays like he is the best out of the top echelon. That's a great price. Max Gracerman, he might be a little bit surly, but he's got game, 38-1. Thompson's Water Seal at 40-1. Hits it straight. That's what you need. Birdie trade. Uh-oh, Carver, I did it. Will Zalatoris put on a few LBs. Hopefully a win at 55. I have an addiction to Eric Cole, and one day he's going to win. Top 5 last week, and I'm going out for some fish. Salmon, please, with Patrick Fishburne at 70-1. Popular pick this week. I'm scared.
I almost texted you, Cam. I would have been so mad if Eric Cole won that tournament last week, and he was in the mix on the weekend. Me and you have played Eric Cole 1 billion times, and he never comes through. Here's the placements for me. Sunjay Im, you saw him near the top of the board. Also plays well here. I'm not going to play him to win, though, because he never wins. Top 5, though, at plus 330. I'll go there. Top 10. How about Harry Hall the past couple weeks, Cam? This Double H has been on fire. Plus 450 for a top 10. There you go, Cam. You got me in on Eric Cole. Top 10 at 6-1. Let's go there. Siwoo Kim, former winner here at top 20 at 180. Nikki Dunlap won here last year as an amateur. Top 20 at plus 240. And here we go. The bomb placement of the week. Your boy, Matteo Manassero got his card through the DP World Tour last year. His first event with a card on the PGA Tour. Let's get a top 20 out of him on a course that I think he can handle.
The guy won in Europe. You're giving him almost 8-1 at that price? That's nuts. Top 10. Im always is top 10 here. Plus 130. I like your top 5. Bold. Mr. Burns, top 10, almost 2-1. Nico Echeverria, Carver talked about it. This guy's one of the hottest players in the world. 2-1 there. Top 20. Sepp Straka, underrated golfer there every week. Plus 210. Mac Meisner, popular pick this week with Brady Cannon. Top 40 for a plus 110. And Jackson, who? Uber? No, I need a Zuber. Extra, I'm going all the way to Long Island. Plus 180 for Zuber. Top 40.
Cam, first round leaders are weird this week. 3 courses, so 3 separate groups of first round leaders. For La Quinta, Cantlay at 14-1, Keith Mitchell at 28-1 for me. In fact, I'm going to even throw Chris Kirk in at 35-1. The Nicholas course, Michael Kim at 25-1. Mark put the Hubbard in the cupboard at 28-1. Give me Cam Young at 18-1 as well. On the Pete Dye, Mac Hughes again, 28-1. Taylor Montgomery, I can't quit him, at 45-1. And give me EVR, Eric Van Rooyen, at 28-1 on the Pete Dye as well, Cam.
Love it. I'm going to ride your guys too, Carver. I got at La Quinta, Zalatoris at 25. Hot starter, Eric Cole, Mr. Thursday. Can you do better? 28-1. Bo Hostler loves the first round. 25-1. Norlander out of the gate, 33-1. Bud Cauley, he's back, 30-1. And Brendan Todd loves these type of courses. Pete Dye, 60-1. Incredible price.
The Todd father getting involved with Cam this week. I can't believe it. Go to the Todd father out at La Quinta. Now, we also have, Cam, a very good tournament on the DP World Tour this week where we have a lot of heavy hitters that are going to be involved. Of course, the Dubai Desert Classic. Look at this. Rory, Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood, Victor Hovland, Bobby Mack, Adam Scott, some huge names. But look at these prices, Cam. I mean, Rory at plus 360, get lost. I'm going to go a little bit further down the board. I'm going with the Dean. Dean Burmeister, 33-1. Akshay's there. Akshay Bhatia at 40-1. And I can't quit Patty Reed if he's playing a DP World Tour event. So 50-1 for Patrick Reed.
Well, I got a Cole addiction. You got a Reed addiction. We both need help, but Reed wins more. That's for sure. Give me Rasmus Højgaard, 22-1, the dangerous Dane. I'm with you in the office, Carver. We're having beers with the Dean. Not a suspension at 33-1. And Nikolai Højgaard, are you kidding me at this price? Sign me up. Norgard is unbelievable. Watch out for these Danes. They're on fire, Carver. Every week, these guys are Danes in contention. In Dubai or in Europe.
The Højgaard brothers for Cam this week out in Dubai along with the Dean. I love it. Cam, let's continue to get going here. We just started the season. We're now finally back on the coast. Next week, we're going to Torrey for the Farmers. So we are off and running for the West Coast swing. Let's cash a lot of tickets. Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister. See him with Gabe at night on Sports Rage late night. Let's get it going with the golf. Put it with the Golf Wednesday.
talk about it failing. And always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a midweek Where Do You Hurt Wednesday golf edition, as usual, on a Wednesday. Put it with the golf. You got the Prime Minister there later in the next hour, a double shot with our boy Stewie from Read the Line, Keith Stewart. All right, let me have it. More Tomlin. I've been watching some of these clips, and I got to tell you, I'm boiling over.
Well, look, he talked for a long time yesterday. I'm not going to crush you too much, but I'll play you a couple that I thought were interesting. First, let's hear Mike talk about he was asked by, and I will say this, the reporters, for the first time, and some people were mentioning this, they really were kind of giving Mike some tough ones. They're pushing back. There really wasn't a lot of softball stuff with Mike after another playoff loss yesterday at the end of the year. Here's one we were asked if the Steelers have been stuck in the same place every single year. Here's what Mike had to say.
I don't know that I've looked at it from that perspective. I'm certainly disappointed that I'm not working to prepare to play this week. And I've certainly felt that in recent years. But stuck is kind of a helpless feeling, and I don't know that I feel helpless.
Well, what gives you where does that optimism that you guys can emerge from this sort of place you've been in?
I don't know that I'm ready to be overly optimistic or sell optimism to you either. I'm just acknowledging what transpired and what has to happen and what is beginning to happen, and acknowledging the complexity and the amount of work that's ahead of us. Certainly feel capable, but definitely doesn't feel in the mood for optimism or the selling of optimism. I don't know that that's appropriate. It's disappointing not to be working. And so that's where we are.
Fair enough. It is what it is. They're not getting rid of him. So you can sit there and bellyache like me for days on end. I'm frustrated as much as anyone is in Pittsburgh. I think it's a lot like, Buffalo when they lose all the time. The frustration boils over into the community because that's all they live for. You understand? People in Pittsburgh live for the Steelers, and more so, believe me, more so than the Penguins. It's a Steeler town and always has been. And when they lose, it's full-on onset of depression. I mean, literally, even little kids. everyone is depressed because Pittsburgh is depressing to begin with. It is a steel town. It is a bad snowbelt town like Buffalo is to Western New York. And when all it does is crappy weather, snow, and misery, even in the summer, it's hot as hell and humid and miserable. It's never nice. It's like a sunny day in Pittsburgh is like a rarity. So when all you ever have is depression and angst and losing and just that vibe, it carries through to people. And they don't function. They don't work well. They're not productive. Less babies are born, the whole deal. Nobody does anything. No one's in a good mood. No one's nice. And Pittsburgh's a nice town. People are cool to one another. There's not a bunch of, a-holes in Pittsburgh. But when they lose, there are.
Here's Mike. He was asked if he's still the right man for the job in Pittsburgh.
I think a lot of fans have been questioning coaching at the top, starting with you, if you are still the right guy for this job. What's your message to them?
I have no response to that. I understand the nature of what it is that we do, the attention and criticism that comes with it. As a matter of fact, I embrace it, to be quite honest with you.
I've heard it all from
I
this
enjoy
guy.
the urgency that comes with what I do and what we do. I don't make excuses for failure. I own it. But I also feel like I'm capable. And so as long as I'm afforded an opportunity to do that, I will continue. But I certainly understand their frustrations, and probably more importantly than that, I share it because that's how I'm wired. And so I'm not a big-time comfort seeker, and particularly in circumstances such as this, I don't view myself as a comfort provider because there's, words are hollow, to be quite honest with you. It's about what we do and less about what we say. And so I've learned to say very little when things are going good, and I've learned to say less when they aren't.
So I got to be honest with you. This guy, he really is exactly what you just saw. A guy that I really believe he loves his players, and he loves people that are in the organization. He loves the Rooneys. He loves Pittsburgh. But he could give a flying F what you think of him as a fan. He does not care what fans think of him and never will. He does not base his career on what fans think. Believe me, you.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The days are numbered for the young gun here at the Ferrall Palatial Carver High as he will return to San Diego State on Martin Luther King and Inauguration Day, National Championship Day. He will be leaving on a jumbo jet airliner for the Southern Cali Southern Cali coast and back to school. The rumor has it that he will try next spring to go to school in Barcelona, Spain. There are rumors. And I only got a solid 4 days left with him here. On the 5th day, he will rise again from the dead and go back to school, and I will pay dearly for that. So at this point, give me the rest of the NFL skinny.
Yes, we will do that. And I'm sure he's looking forward to getting away from this weather, at least. I know we've talked about weather a lot. But I'm sure he can't wait to get back to San Diego for reasons like that. Tomlin did also say that if anyone starts any rumors about trading for him or things like that, he said, quote, save your time, end quote. So there you go. We can stop talking about all that nonsense.
I think he's very loyal to the Rooneys. He really is. And I think it goes back to Dan Rooney and a Super Bowl ring. And I think that he will not have any interest in anything else. He likes where he is. And he'll continue. So people can blow all the smoke they want. It's not changing.
You got to remember, too, in a business where everyone seems to constantly be fired, right? The turnover in the NFL as a head coach is
constant,
pretty high. It's constant. To have the security of being at a place as one of those 32 jobs where the ownership never fires anyone, I would say that would be a place you'd want to stay. As opposed to going somewhere where you could be out of a job in 2 years, 3 years. So
and make big money and not win playoff games.
Correct. Here's some maybe good news for you, although I highly doubt this will come of anything of it. The Bears and the Jets are interviewing Arthur Smith today and tomorrow. Can we find a way for them to just – because that would be great. Can you imagine if he coached the Jets? Like, that would be awesome.
Mike,
I hope Arthur Smith is the Jet coach.
I'm hearing that he is, and that – I believe that Aaron Glenn is the Saints, and I'm hearing over and over, I said this on Ferrall on a Bench podcast today on iTunes, that I think this Ben Johnson guy is going to take the Raiders job, and boy, will he be in for a rude awakening. I am telling you that people think that because Tom Brady's there, that's a good job. I mean, ask Antonio Pierce how that worked out for him. I mean, he's finished now, and the Raiders stink. I mean, they're worse. I mean, they are an absolute train wreck. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers go to the playoffs. They win games. They're good. I mean, they're at least good. They're not great. They're good. And the Raiders aren't even anywhere near that word good. And Ben Johnson, because he's the coach that's going to turn it around. I don't care who the coach is in Las Vegas. They're going to lose.
I don't disagree with any of that. There's no shot that they're going to be good anytime soon.
They have lost more games than any NFL team in the last 15 years.
You're going to find out what kind of genius Ben Johnson is if he takes that job out in Las Vegas. We'll see how much of a genius he becomes. And I'll say this. I saw today that the Jags are really high on Robert Saleh and that he's like the best guy who's interviewed so far for that job.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine hiring him after the Jets the last few years? I mean, come on.
They literally – he will lose more there than he ever did even in New York.
Very possible. I would agree. Very, very possible.
I'm sick of hearing
as far
about
as
Duval County, okay, as well. That should be another faux pas. You shouldn't be allowed to talk about, like, every week, Duval County. What is this, Robert Duval? He did look like my grandfather, however.
He did. Speaking of coaches being chopped, we know McCarthy's out in Dallas. Now, you remember Micah Parsons during the season. He didn't seem to care too much if McCarthy wasn't there or not anymore. But this week said that it would be, quote, devastating. It is going to be devastating that McCarthy's gone. Devastating. From the Cowboys.
You're a liar. Do another crappy podcast and tell everyone that you're sickened by McCarthy's firing after you're the one that wanted him gone mid-season, you loser. And by the way, that's exactly what you are, a loser. You never won at Penn State either. And you've never done anything in the NFL except flap your mouth. I don't care what anyone says. I hear about how he's the greatest player in the league. You know, my effing ass, okay? Let's get real here. You talk about a guy that gets more press than he deserves is overrated. I mean, greatest player I've ever seen that never does anything. Whatever.
Never does anything.
Cry me a river.
It's amazing.
You know how many great players? Like, listen, Lawrence Taylor was better when he smoked crack cocaine before games than Micah Parsons has ever been as an NFL player. And you can quote me on that. He was better high on crack cocaine than this guy is sober. Okay? So take that to the bank and shove it in your tuchus while you're at it. I'm done listening to Micah Parsons is the best player in the NFL. I'm gonna puke. I'm gonna have another stroke, Carver High, another heart attack.
Yesterday we did that story about Dion talking to Jerry, and I told you how all these people were coming up with these bogus trade ideas to get Shedeur Sanders to the Cowboys. Here's one of them.
To the Steelers.
Like, can you imagine? I know that Tennessee fired the GM, and they don't have a GM right now. Can you imagine if someone actually made this dopey trade and traded the number 1 overall pick in the draft for Dak Prescott? And nothing against Dak, but, like, you don't trade like this hundreds of $1 million contract, first overall. Get serious. They got to calm down. None of this stuff's happening. These hypothetical Dak Prescott trades.
So let's give Shedeur Sanders to the Cowboys and Deion Sanders, and then we'll be stuck with Dak, broken ankles, Prescott. With all of his,
honestly,
he's another guy that's overrated, overpaid and overrated.
God, we just got to stop with the overreaction stuff. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers declares for the NFL draft.
So what?
God bless and good luck. God bless and good luck.
He's the third-rated quarterback in the draft. Someone's going to draft him thinking that they have a franchise, changing quarterback, and they are going to be in for a rude awakening.
You watch that kid play this year, he is not ready for the NFL.
No way.
He ain't ready
He's
for
ready
the NFL.
For the United Football League. But he'll get drafted.
He could use a year or two there. Oh, he's going to get drafted. And
Tennessee.
It's going to put somebody back if they take him high and actually want to think he'll do something. Bo Nix played the last 6.
You got to be high to draft him.
Broncos quarterback Bo Nix played the last 6 weeks of the season with 3 transverse fractures in his back. What? You kidding me? Nice job by Bo fighting through that.
Who doesn't have a bad back? Honestly.
Everybody's got a bad back. Packers cornerback Jair Alexander not expected back in Green Bay. He basically said to the reporters, I don't want to talk. I don't plan on being back here. So he basically said, I'm not going to be back in Green Bay. And the Colts will host a game in Berlin next season. Now, do they hate all those fans over there, the international fans? They announced last week that the London games were the Jets, the Browns, and the Jaguars, and then they send the Colts to Berlin. Can we give these people some good teams? You're gonna waste everyone's time and play these games over there.
What are the Steelers playing in Dublin? Is that next year too?
They haven't made that official yet. I think they're still working on that. Or they haven't announced it yet, but that's not official. The Steelers playing in Dublin.
Listen, I'm not going to Berlin to watch the Indianapolis Colts do anything. I would go to Frankfurt to drink beer before I would go to Berlin to watch the Colts.
Berlin.
There you go. I've been to Frankfurt to drink beer. It's way more fun than watching the Colts. I've been to Colts games. Believe me, when I tell you, you would rather go to Frankfurt and drink beer, even at the airport. Just drink beer at the airport. And then leave.
Anybody would rather go to Frankfurt to drink beer. I think that's pretty much right.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, are you serious? We're going to the NBA? Man, I got burned at the stake last night with some of those bets. It was brutal for me, honestly. It really was.
Yes, it was a tough night on a couple of these games in the NBA, that's for sure. The Cavs got some revenge on the Pacers. Remember, they beat them the other night. 10-point win for them, 127-117, 35 for Donovan Mitchell in that game as he had it going. The Thunder beat the Sixers 118-102 last night. Now, the Hawks beat the Suns 122-117. Your boy Ice Tray was going off last night. He had 43 points, I believe.
Did he have like the flu all day? He had the flu.
He was sick. He had the sniffles, the flu, whatever he had, and then he busts off a 43-piece to take down the Suns. FanDuel Sportsnet South.
Hawks work a little clock, down to a minute and a half. Trey, step back three. Oh, he hit it! He hit that bad boy just outside the logo.
You know, that guy, I don't think he's ever been truly happy in Atlanta like anyone else that's ever played in the NBA in Atlanta, including Dominique, because they suck. And they've never done anything, and they never will. But I actually, if I were them, I would never let him leave. He's just the greatest thing that's ever happened to the Atlanta Hawks, besides Neek, right? Like, that's it. That's all there is to it. And I've been to 5 million Hawk games at the Omni and at the State Farm, and I know what I'm talking about. There is no player who's better than him. Mookie Blaylock? I mean, what you know, Craig Elo? What are we going to do here? Ice Tray, don't let him leave, honestly, because I don't think he wants to be there, but I wouldn't let him leave for any reason in the world. He can ball.
He can ball, that's for sure. It was a nice game from him last night. The Pelicans beat the Bulls.
They should fire Billy
119 to
Donovan for
113.
that.
You can't lose at home to the Pelicans. I don't care what you. I mean, Zion had 21. Trey Murphy had 32. The Bulls suck. I mean, you know this. They're just not a good team.
They should fire him. It's just run its course.
The Bucks did beat the Kings last night. 130 to 115. How about this? They scored 47 points in the first quarter. Are you kidding me? FanDuel Sportsnet Wisconsin.
Penetrate with a purpose. Get a piece of the paint. Lift the kick, just like that.
Giannis over to AJ. Just like that. Sinks it. Wow. A 47-point first quarter for the Bucks.
I mean, honestly, it's embarrassing. I mean, at least I hit the Nuggets.
That's a tough. 47 points. God, play a little D. Nuggets beat the Mavs 118 to 99. Weren't we talking last week? Like, what the hell happened to Jamal Murray? Like, what happened to this guy? Is he still in the league?
Last
he was
night
back
is what
last
happened.
night. He dropped 45. He was going off in the first half on TNT.
Murray has outscored the Dallas starters 23 to 20. Murray again. Murray is cooking. Tracked down by Brown. We approach 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. They surround Jokic. Ball gets tipped. Murray, he's in the lab. Jamal Murray cannot be stopped.
Sometimes he had 32 in the first half. So there he was, the Birdman with the call.
Everyone loves the Birdman. Ian, he's in the lab there with that one. Joker, by the way, fastest player to reach 15,000 points, 7,500 boards, 5,000 dimes, and he did it in 709 games. The fastest before him was 799 games, and that was Larry Bird. So he did it in 90 games fewer than Bird did. The Joker continues to rack up the big numbers.
So here's the deal. Larry Bird has his own wing at the Basketball Hall of Fame. The Joker is already, done deal, a Hall of Famer. Already. And I don't even think he likes playing basketball.
He'd rather like bet horses at that off track in Serbia. Like he'd rather just go over there and run the horses, and
it's like you and I at the Meadowlands with the syndicated horse racing. We got it all going, all the tracks.
He's so good at it, and he's just there picking up a paycheck. Like that's all the Joker's in. This is just work. I can't wait to get the hell out of here when the season's over.
Carver High, all the tracks, and we'll just bet and we'll eat hot dogs. That's it.
They could start, I guess you could say, start building the wing for Joker then next to Larry's wing. Because Joker's going to need one at some point, that's for sure. And the Nets beat Portland 132 to 114. Nice effort by the Blazers last night as Cam Johnson had 24 for the Nets as they took care of business. Although your boy Scoot was having a huge night, but as you always say, you could put up big stats like 39 points, but you lose. That's what happened to Scoot.
If you don't win, you lose.
So that's, like I woke up this morning because I fell asleep before the game, and I'm seeing all these highlights of Scoot Henderson. I'm thinking, man, they must have won big. They lost by 20. Like, what? Come on.
Here's a news flash for you. Tomorrow night, we actually have the same game again, the rematch between the Cavs and the Thunder. I think obviously this time in OKC, as opposed to the Rocket in Cleveland, where Cleveland won that game and covered the two easily. Now they're going to play in OKC, and you know what's going to happen tomorrow night, right? Like, the Thunder are going to win that game, as sure as I'm sitting here.
I agree. Thunder 33-6, the Cavs 34-5. They played last week, and now they'll play tomorrow night in OKC. And yes, that game is a national TV game, so you will be able to watch that game on TNT.
By the way,
tomorrow night. So
I've still not been able to see the Knicks play, and tonight they're playing Philly. And it's on ESPN. Now, the last time it was on like a network, they still blocked it out locally in New York. You cannot watch the Knicks anywhere, ever.
If I had the time and nobody wants to hear it here on this format. I have spent so much time on the phone and in chats in the last 24 hours trying to get to the bottom of this, and I'm like begging these people to keep me as a customer, and like they just don't want to do it. Like I'm trying to get it through their head. Like you're charging me more money, and I need to watch sports, and you took them away from me. Like give me something, make me stay before I go to the other guy.
I hate Optimum. I hate him.
Talk about it failing and always putting the square peg into the round hole. We're going to run it. We're going to try and play these lower scoring games. They didn't score over 17 points in the 5 straight losses.
There's a chance for the Ravens to exercise every single demon on their way to a Super Bowl. But it also means the path is very difficult and things are only getting started.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler wants to leave because Jimmy Butler knows that Riles isn't going to pay him, and he wants to get paid. Simply put, if they would have given Jimmy Butler this contract extension in the summer when he asked, this wouldn't be happening. But Riles did it, and Riles wanted him to play. So now he's disgruntled because he wants out.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We like to look at who's the best and worst against the spread, the over-unders, and, the West odds, the East odds. We like to do that every week on Coast to Coast, so let's do it now.
Yeah, why don't we try for the NBA? Usually Wednesdays is when we do the best and the worst. The Cavaliers, 27-12 ATS so far this year. And look who's next to them. The Thunder, 26-12-2. They'll play tomorrow night. Grizzlies, Clippers, and Rockets up there. The worst teams, the Suns, 13-25-1 against the spread. The Sixers, Wizards. How about the T-Wolves, 15-23-1 against the number? Horrible, those teams.
Even the Hawks, they're horrible as well. Like, here's the deal. Don't bet on any of those teams, and then bet on the Cavs, Thunder, Grizzlies, Clippers, and Rockets, and make money.
That is what you should do, is stick to those teams on the left side. As far as the overs and the unders go with the totals, the Hawks might not cover games on the spread, but they give you plenty of overs. 26 games to the over so far this year, 26-13. The Cavs, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Knicks, and Pacers. As far as the under goes, Hornets, Clippers, Magic, Warriors, Celtics, and Suns all play into the under, best under teams.
Yeah, I worry about the Knicks in terms of injuries right now. Cat's now got the thumb. Brunson's injured. Sims is injured. I think he sucks anyway. And I'll tell you what, it's real simple here. Bet Hawks overs and don't bet Hawks spreads. It's real simple. We're trying to learn here on SportsGrid. It's very important that we all learn and get something out of this. And then who doesn't produce? the Hornets. I'm surprised about the Clippers. So what I would do there is bet them on the spread, stay away from them on totals. Magic, Dubs, Celtics, Suns. Can you imagine these Celtics unders? But they play defense. So don't bet Celtic totals. This is what we're learning today on Coast to Coast.
We're trying to, at least. NBA Eastern Conference. I mean, it's not even February, and the Celtics are minus money to win the East. Minus 105. Cavs plus 325. Then the Knicks, Bucks, Magic, Sixers. The Cavs have 39% of the tickets. The Celtics have 39% of the money to win the East.
You know, I'm surprised that, everyone and their brother thinks the Celtics are unbeatable, completely unbeatable, and that it's a done deal, wrap it up, they're going to win another title. I don't believe that for 1 minute that they're going to do it again. I really don't. And the fact that the Cavaliers get no respect whatsoever, yet they kick everyone's ass, including the Thunder, and they get no respect whatsoever is amazing to me. I don't think the Knicks, for my money, have the depth or the defense, and I know that it's a calling card for Tibbs. Yep, whatever, my ass, okay? Calling card, they don't play defense, okay? So they have legit ability offensively when they're healthy, which they're not right now. The question is, are they going to be healthy in April, May, and June? That's all that matters. Right now, it does not matter. The NBA fills their coffers from October until April. They fill their coffers, they make all their money as a business, and then it gets real in the playoffs. The NBA is only real from April until the title. That's all there is to it. So looking at these odds right now is a gigantic, colossal waste of time. All I know is that when the playoffs come rolling around, then let's talk.
Well, on the west side, the Thunder are the favorites, too. Substantially, plus 120. And then the Nuggets, Mavs, Grizzlies, and T-Wolves. There's the Rockets at 17-1 if they go and get Jimmy Butler, like Coach said to you the other day. Then they can win the West if they get Jimmy Butler. So
anything's possible, Mike. I think the Rockets are very dangerous. And look at that number. What is it, 17-1? I think the Grizzlies are legit. I love the Grizzlies and Ja Morant. My son's a gigantic Thunder fan since he came out of his mother's womb, and I don't believe that Murray and Joke are two guys anymore, because when they won the title, they had more than two guys. I thought they had 7 deep. They do not have 7 deep. So right now they're winning games that are meaningless to me, and they're getting in position to get all this juice with odds. But I do not consider them a title favorite at all. I do think the Thunder are legit. I think the Thunder actually, in my book, with their youth and speed and talent and size and rebounding and defense, are the best team, for my money, in the NBA. Everyone gives it to the Celtics, and you can kiss my ass.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.